Omicron poses a huge obstacle to US recovery, a global phenomenon that happens once every century. Unfortunately, struck the world. In late 2019, there was a virus detected in Wuhan, China. The world didn't think much of it, but over the months, it devoured the world. And then a worldwide lockdown was instigated that led to the public health crisis and economic crisis. The pandemic disturbed lives and tested the hospital systems to their maximum capacity, leading to global economic disruption. 15 September 2020, and there were already about 6.5 million confirmed COVID cases and more than 195,000 deaths in the US. This is triple the number of American lives taken in the Vietnam War. This led to the global economy graph drop. But now as the vaccines have been deployed, the storms have subsided a little and the graph is climbing with daily activities resuming and when the United States is still recovering. This new variant of the virus is called Omicron variant and it poses as a huge obstacle to the US recovery. Here's how. But first, if you're new to this channel and like watching insightful content like this, then thumb wrestle the subscribe button and high five the like button when you win. Oh, and don't forget to ring the victory bell. Before we start the video, I would like to talk about the political elements. They are present in everything directly or indirectly. We can't just ignore or implement something based on that. A country is like a home on a larger scale. Sure, it is obtaining power, but a country that preaches democracy to its finest level should acknowledge the fact that power is distributed among people. It's downright childish and nonsensical to call political actions a reason to refuse vaccinations. When the country has accumulated a national debt of $30 trillion just because they follow the idea of a democracy. This is the home of the brave, land of the free, and you are free enough to choose what you want. But why would you want something that is jeopardizing and threatening the lives of people around you? Please get your vaccines done. People at the front line are trying hard to improve lives. There has been distrust in the institutions and some conspiracies lurking around the vaccine. But so far, the countries that have already vaccinated their population have shown no negative impact on their well-being. Only a couple of side effects. A new world record America has set. 5,25,000 people have been recorded to have been conceived the virus in a day, from which 4,65,000 were verified cases. The data has said that Omicron is more transmissible than Delta, and we see the President Joe Biden is very scared of this variant. Seems like the people now are not revolting against the mask, and vaccines and vaccination centers are overcrowded with US citizens. After the approval of vaccines in the US, which happened last December, the Biden administration has been emphasizing the importance of vaccines, but only 61.9% of the American citizens are completely vaccinated, from which 15% of the population are refusing the vaccine because of their political alliances. They could act as hosts to these viruses. This shows that this is not the administration's fault, and as Omicron is a very transmissible variant, there is an increase of 72% in the case of COVID-19. During November, America has seen 74,000 new cases weekly. Death tolls have increased from 876 to 1,777. Active cases, which were 9.2 million, have now increased over to 12.4 million. Hospitalization all over the US has risen of 7% in the last 7 days. The graph indicates dangerous levels of exposure to the virus. The US administration has recommended for the boosters to be shortened by 5 months. President Joe Biden said the unvaccinated have taken up hospital beds and crowded the emergency rooms and the intensive care units. So please, please, please get vaccinated now. There is no excuse to be unvaccinated. This appears to be a pandemic for the unvaccinated. And those who are opposing the vaccine should know that COVID-19 is endemic and it is here to stay for good. Even though Omicron does affect the vaccinated and boosted population, the disease only affects on a lower scale, and you might require good bed rest for a day or two, but you won't have to be hospitalized. The rest that is hospitalized are the people who are unvaccinated, and they are affecting the health ecosystem of this country. There is a political element to this as well. The main reason for the dangers of the new variant are people refusing the virus, keeping them in mind. There is an active obstruction of the mandates in states like Georgia and Florida. In Georgia, the university system has around 300,000 students. Universities are not allowed to mandate either masks for indoor classes or vaccines. And the states like Florida, where the governor is actively prohibiting the mask mandates. These are the policy approaches that are contrary to what the CDC recommends, but also basic common sense and public health measures that would make a difference. Even though it's too early to speculate anything, we know that it has started seeping into the process of economic recovery. we can see that if people don't get vaccinated, it will get severe with time. The pandemic will force local businesses to close, and they are the majority of businesses in the United States. Some of these businesses cannot be done remotely, so it is a huge loss for the business owners and their employees, which also means the tax revenue will decline. The Omicron variant has put a halt to the recovery of the United States economy. The travel industry and hospitality industry are among the most affected sectors, as there have been disruptions in the restaurant, entertainment business, and flights have been cancelled and closed. This means that the consumer activity will decrease, and with this, the revenue will as well. This will deplete the recent gains and stop the recovery. So if you have to take a walk or a drive around New York City, you will more likely see at least a dozen restaurants closed, and it's not just a precautionary measure to prevent the surge, but there also has been reported staff members testing positive with the Omicron virus. The NHL recently cancelled their hockey game, and I have witnessed Broadway shows getting cancelled, and all of those can be because of the Omicron virus. January and February are times when local businesses made a lot of money. Restaurant owners have reported having a fully booked evening getting cancelled, as people feared the Omicron variant. This shows that people are choosing the saving route, as the future seems unclear and there could be more restrictions in place. We can also see that the airline industry is giving discounts to attract more customers and keep the business going. Now, the virus is highly contagious and the symptoms are subtle. The point here is, as more people fall sick and the hospitals start to fill up to the rim again, we would see restrictions put into place. These restrictions could reenact the whole COVID-19 scenario all over again, and this time the economy is just recovering, and this could further plummet the improvement of the economy even more. Adding to the situation, the US has recorded more than 1 million cases. President Joe Biden said, "This pandemic is for the unvaccinated." And in a populated city like New York, 71% of the population is vaccinated, but the remaining 30% are susceptible to the variant. But what does this do to the economy? I never thought I would quote a Marvel character on topics like these, but Thor said, "Asgard is not the place, but the people." The same way America is not the country, but the people living in it. So I would urge every responsible citizen to get vaccinated and fight this virus off for good. Doctors say that the virus is endemic and it is here to stay. Now, as much as we don't want these nasty things on our planet, we cannot do anything about it, but prepare ourselves in the way that we don't need to acknowledge them anymore. And as President Joe Biden said, the pandemic is for the unvaccinated, and as we all know that the US has accumulated a national debt of over $30 trillion, this is bad news and we need to overcome it. Let's take this step as the first of many to make America great again. Thank you so much for watching. This is us signing out.